Alright, so at this point I went ahead and hooked up both of my strain gauges. I've got one strain gauge that is closest to the vise, and I've hooked it up as input 1. And then I've got my second strain gauge, which is the furthest from the vise, which is on the end of your beam, and I've hooked it up to input 2. Again, both of your wires are gonna go in similar spots. So the red goes to the P plus, the white goes to the S minus, and then the black goes to the D120. So it's the same for both inputs, nothing changes. Then you balance. So you push the balance button because we want it to be similar distribution throughout each of the wires. So that's why we're balancing. So you push balance, and it will ask you again, do you want to balance or do you want to cancel? And you push balance again, and then it'll run through its process to make sure that it can sense both of the sensors. So it actually told me that it cannot read channel 1. And if it cannot read it, more than likely you either do not have your wires into the right port holes, or your soldering from the wire to the strain gauge is not connecting a strong connection. So the machine cannot indicate or sense any connection. Now channel 2, I do have a reading. So channel 2 is with my end strain gauge. So that would mean that I've got my wires hooked up right, the soldering is good, and each of the wires are in the positions that they need to be. So at this point, I would need to backtrack and try to find out why channel 1, input 1, is not reading. So that would mean you got to go back and check your soldering, check to make sure your wires are inserted, making a good connection. If they're not, then that's why it's not reading, okay? But I'm going to go ahead and proceed because I am seeing a connection for channel 2. So just for example purposes, I'm going to go ahead and proceed. I'm going to write down what my channel 2 readings are here. But again, I won't know what channel 1 readings are because, like I said, it's not calculating it. So if this were you in the lab, you would have to go back and try to see what happened, what went wrong. Is it my soldering? Is my sensor bad? What's up?